5 GOP presidential candidates took the stage, notably without, once again, the front runner. That would be former President Trump, who has skipped all of these events. Tense moments in the debate over issues like foreign policy, also abortion. And former UN ambassador and South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley is rising in the polls and was a repeated target.
Do you want a leader from a different generation who's going to put this country first? Or do you want Dick Cheney in 3-inch heels?
I'd first like to say they're 5-inch heels, and I don't wear them unless you can run in them.
Well, we've got two of you on stage.
The second thing that I will say is I wear heels. They're not for a fashion statement. They're for ammunition.
With us now are two CBS News political contributors, Terry Sullivan, former campaign manager for Republican Senator Marco Rubio, and Joel Payne, chief communications officer for the liberal advocacy group MoveOn. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being here. Vivek Ramaswamy said there are two of you on stage with heels.
Yes.
People caught that little comment. I think he's referring to Ron DeSantis. Terry, let me start with you on the Republican side. DeSantis did not address the heels controversy. What else stood out to you?
Well, I was watching Jelly Roll on the CMA last night, so I have no idea. But look, what stood out to me is no one addressed the elephant not in the room.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Donald Trump still has over 50% of the vote in this primary. They have a math problem. This is Common Core math. This isn't political strategy. And they need to figure out some way to start chipping away at that, and it's not by going after each other's clothing choices.
But him not coming to any of the debates is not hurting him at all. If you're running for president, shouldn't you have to participate in the debates? Is that an issue?
There's lots of things, not that voters really care about.
They don't.
I mean, at the end, maybe a little bit on the fringes, but he's running a smart campaign. We should give credit to his campaign and his folks that they're running a much smarter campaign than he's ever run before. He's more disciplined. He's making smart choices. He's not flailing around nearly as much by Donald Trump standards. Yeah. I mean, why would you go to a debate when you're winning?
So it seems to be a race for second place, a distant second.
Right.
Last night, who stood out? Clearly, there's no love lost between Nikki Haley and Vivek.
Well, what stood out to me is I do think all the candidates have improved at debating at least each other.
All of them.
And I think Ron DeSantis actually did what he needed to do to stay viable in a place like Iowa. What his team wants to show their donors, their supporters, is that, hey, don't pay attention to the Nikki Haley rise. I'm still the alternative B to Donald Trump. And I think he probably did enough to do that. But as Terry said, the math problem still exists for all of these candidates who aren't Donald Trump. You have to be able to put 50 plus 1 together in the Republican primary field. And I don't know if anything about last night changed the dynamics.
Yeah,
okay,
math ain't mathin'. It's not.
Let's take out the shots fired between the candidates, and let's take out some of the circus. Who do you believe had a stronger night?
You know, look, I agree with Joel. I think DeSantis had his best debate performance thus far. There was no sizzle, but he's moving the ball down the field. He is still best positioned to take on Trump. Out of any of them, he's got the organization in Iowa, he's got the political pedigree, he's got the record, the money, like all the things that he appeals to base primary voters. He's still the most favorably looked at voter amongst a candidate amongst Republicans. He's got higher faves than anyone else, and that matters.
But isn't Nikki Haley gaining?
Yeah, I think I think she is gaining, but as Terry made a good point, she's gaining with people like me. She
what are people like you?
She's this era's John McCain. She's every Democrat's favorite Republican in this field, just like Joe Manchin is every Republican's favorite Democrat on the Democratic side.
Which seems like bad news if you're a Republican. So the Wall Street Journal's got an op-ed today. Are Republicans tired of all the losing? They've underperformed in 2018, 2020, 2022, and now 2023, just on Tuesday. Joel, it's funny, the Republicans seem to be spiraling, and yet when you talk to Democrats, they're terribly worried as well. How are you feeling after Tuesday about...
Terrified.
You were terrified. Okay.
But it was a big win for Democrats,
I think there's this idea that there's hubris on the Democratic side, that President Biden and his team don't see the terrible headwinds out there. They do. It's good that you have a cut-through issue like abortion that is effective with this electorate, but I don't think any Democrat feels like this is better than a coin flip race in 2024, and I think nothing about what happened on Tuesday changed that. What does matter, I think, is that abortion still is very resonant with this electorate right now at this moment.
You don't see what happened on Tuesday as a boost for President Biden, because they certainly are doing a victory lap about it.
Well, it was not a bad night for President Biden, and I think that's good enough. But look, is President Biden Andy Beshear in Kentucky, who's running 20 points ahead of Joe Biden? Does President Biden have the favorables of some Democrats around the country? He doesn't. He has time to rebuild that. But I think you can divorce the wins of Tuesday night from the overall challenges that President Biden is facing.
Terry, what should Republicans be doing to change their strategy, particularly on some of these hot-button issues like abortion?
Look, they need to take it to Democrats on all the litany of other issues they're weak on. The economy, inflation, mortgage rates through the roof. It's too expensive to buy a home right now. We're involved in 2 wars. Where there's a crisis at the southern border, crime is out of control. There are some real issues that are kitchen table issues that Republicans need to be talking about. How are you really better off than you were 4 years ago?
Do you think on a large scale Republicans are wasting time on issues that don't matter?
I think they could focus more on issues that matter to voters more.
Okay, that makes sense.
Joe Biden, Democrats are not excited. They are scared like you, or when I talk to Democrats, a lot of them are dreaming of some third candidate to come in.
Yeah.
Either
some
a third
kind
party,
of Hail Mary, something.
or some other Democrat at the top of the ticket.
And he's losing in the battleground states right now as we sit here today.
Let me give some hope for Democrats.
Okay.
Biden's coalition is an anti-Trump coalition. The path for that coalition to win in 24 still exists. Those folks can come together, young voters, voters of color, independents, moderates. That is still there. The dynamics are still there. They're still concerned about Donald Trump on abortion, on democracy, on the issues that really motivate those voters to turn out. That dynamic still exists, and I think Biden can still put that winning coalition together from 20 and 22. He can put it together again in 24.
Yeah, but the issue is that he barely beat Trump last time. He barely beat Trump, and he had no record. And now his record is terrible. And so he hid in his basement. He didn't have to campaign. Now he has to actually go out and campaign. He doesn't look like he's doing a lot of training for that kind of thing at the moment. And I think he's in a tough spot. There's a reason he's losing every single battleground state, ones that he won last time.
I wouldn't underestimate Joe Biden. I remember we were talking about Democratic primaries in 2020. He looked down and out at a number of occasions there. He showed a path to victory there. I think he can show it again.
And Terry, is it fair to say he hid in his basement? That we were in the middle of COVID.
Sure.
Sure,
but there were plenty of other people that were out in the world doing things, doing events. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump was out doing events. And he's not the healthiest person looking on the planet Earth. I know he's, 6'8" and 220? Mm-hmm. But according to his medical, right? But no.
Talking about Trump?
Right, yeah. But
I thought you were talking about Nate.
I guess Trump is built like an NFL prospect.
Right,
I will just say this. The Biden agenda is popular, whether it's cheaper insulin, all the things that he's been working on in Congress. It's very popular, and they're counting on that to guide them to victory in 24.
Joel Payne, Terry Sullivan.
Thank you,
Appreciate
guys.